Hello, folks. Bill and Brian here with Energy Rogue. Listen, today we're talking a little bit about what's going on in the market, and we may not agree on what's happening here.
Yeah, we may not. So should
Roll
we
the
tell them
logo,
who we are?
Ryan.
All
Yeah,
right,
let's
we'll
do it.
roll that. All right.
I always love that thing, man. It's cool.
I know. It's pretty wild, but so Crude took a tumble today. And it's actually something that we shared with our members on Monday, a concern that we had. And let's see, we should probably share a little bit of what happened. So crude dropped below $80, which is a kind of a psychological level. And just a few days ago, we were up around 83. So we've tumbled like $4, which is a lot. I mean, that's quite a bit. Now, the question is why? Why did we tumble? Well, this is what the reporters are saying, that demand worries are outweighing weekly supply decline. So,
So what I reminded Brian is that the press buys no crude oil. So you have to be careful when you say this is what the market says, because it really isn't the market.
yep,
People who buy crude oil are the market.
yep,
Now,
and-
people who affect the market, once again, it's the press and the crude oil traders who buy the non-physical trade. Now they buy the contracts on NYMEX or over the counter.
yep. And let's see. I hope I pronounced this correctly. Dimitru, DXY increased, so everything went down. Yeah, there's a lot of correlations. A strong dollar was also included in part of the thesis of why crude went down. Strong dollar, crude goes down. So there's a lot of relationships out there. So DXY is one that I didn't look at before we started this, but I'm gonna take a deeper look after. But this this move down from a technical trading perspective only, not supply, not demand fundamentals, leaves us vulnerable for a drop down to the mid 70s. Not supply, not demand, not speculation. A lot of traders, whenever you have this gap happened when OPEC said they were going to cut, which we did another broadcast. Half that cut is fiction because they can't produce at that level. So what OPEC plus stated, they can't produce at the levels that they're stating. So half that cut was fictitious barrels that never were going to be produced. So what we are looking at is shale production in the U.S. Shale production is still adding, but it is dropping at a precipitous rate. Since May of 2022, it's probably at less than 50% of the output. And that means that declines are going to start to catch up with us, which is going to do nothing but increase this deficit on crude and products total stocks. So when we take a look at Russia, Russia has been increasing their output. And a lot of people are a little surprised at that. I don't know how stable or long term that can exist. But Iraq is down. Iran, there's still sanctions there. Saudi Arabia and UAE are pretty much close to their tops. But OPEC as a whole, as a whole is not really going to be able to save the day. It's probably going to come from shale in the US, that if production is needed to meet supply, I don't think it's going to be there.
So yeah, let's talk about that. Let's go back to our daily unmasking when we talk about what our total production is of crude oil in the U.S. is basically about 12.5 million barrels.
Let me
Uh,
open this up, because for only $89 a month,
hey, look, it was us. Uh,
yeah, for only $89 a month, you get an extended video like this that dives into topical issues on crude oil, natural gas liquids, and electric power, and we're starting to weave in some coal and some other products. But you get access to over 140 different charts, and we summarize the market on our daily unmasking, which is this page right here. And it takes a look at WTI forward curve, natural gas, and the supply and demand balance in the US. So
so the
what?
bottom line is we're still not producing enough inside the U.S. to fill our refineries. In
No,
fact, it's what we produce in the U.S. A lot of it has to export because the U.S. refineries cannot uh, refine it.
it has to do
Yes.
with a quality type.
And the other side of that is what a lot of people don't realize is that our actual demand for refined products is higher than we can refine as well.
Yep.
So it is. So when we start talking about there's a weakness in demand, it's got to be looked at more on a global basis than a U.S. basis because
Oh, yeah.
we produce more, we produce less than we consume right now. And
Yep.
so our demand inside the United States is higher than what we can produce. Now they start matching storage and various things like that, and they try to. It helps mitigate a little bit of that demand, but the bottom line is that if we had to rely on ourselves, it's not going to happen. So we have to look at this thing as a global basis, and we haven't really dove into what is actually capable with tankers on the seas. I mean, how much crude oil we can actually move around the world. And someday Brian and I will dig into that because I like digging into that stuff anyway. But the bottom line is that the headlines you see, that the excuses they necessarily put out for reasons are just recycled a lot.
Yep.
And so I think there's some more things going on. I think Russia's selling their crude oil to China and India because China and India really don't care about it. So anyway.
Yep. And let's see. Dimitro has a great point here. Thank you for joining. Appreciate you being on live. It's a dollar shortage into markets, so they sell a lot of everything. Deposits are at the lowest level. No new bank loans, but demand is also high for energy products. I will take your product next month. Oh, yeah, listen, reach out to us. There's information down below if you want a further tour of it. But if we take a look at that, the interrelationship between currency and crude and energy is so deep that there's a lot of interrelationships, but a lot of people on the dollar index, for example, that Dimitri was referring to, as well as
You got China and India now
interest
buying and
rates.
selling on a. They're not using the U.S. dollar; they're using other currencies to do
Yep.
their, and that makes it really quick, simple, and the so it ain't your granddad's crude oil business.
Yep. And
So
I think this comment is fantastic. So so appreciate you chiming in, because that helps the discussion. And we look strongly at fundamentals, supply and demand, and where that is indicated. And when we take a look at the crude fundamentals, OPEC, we don't see them able to increase their output. And when we look at the US and we look at a declining addition, it's still an addition, But when you have 12.3 million barrels a day, and every month they're only adding 60 to 70,000 barrels a day, and that's on 700 rigs and dropping every day, right?
Right.
So,
It's just a matter that the numbers will catch up with everyone. So
yep, yep. And
I think it's a little early to say demand has gone away. I think I mean, that seems like a really broad statement, but that's what we do. We look into the details.
yep.
Come join us, and we'd love to spend some time chatting with you. And so, Brian, that's all I have for today.
Yeah, I think that's it. We ran a little bit over. We do get talkative, so if you do join, you're going to have to be patient because it takes us a long time. But it's because we want to have a comprehensive thought process, and we really embrace. Bill and I often have different opinions, and that's part of what our Rogue Edge members really appreciate is a different perspective. So, listen, thank you for tuning in, and reach out to us if you have any questions. There is an email down below. You can also click and schedule a meeting with us. It'll default to Google Meet, and we'd be happy to see you one-on-one and chat with you. So hope you come. And until next time, until next time, that's all I got.
Well, till next time, we'll just roll the logo.
All right. Hey, thanks so much, everybody. Have a great day.